Another $1,000 coming your way, so make sure you're here in about 9 or 10 minutes. 3:30 is going to be the next shot for you to grab $1,000 to go fund to yourself. And those come every hour. Start in the morning with Rover. Stansbury's got him, I got him, and then Corey Roddick has him at night. Cavs lose last night by 1 point, making it 11 straight for the Memphis Grizzlies. That happened there in Memphis. Cavs come back for the weekend. They'll play the Warriors tomorrow night at 7:30. And then the Milwaukee Bucks on Saturday night. Both of those are 7:30 tip-offs. Or is it tips-off? You know, like brothers-in-law, attorneys general? Would both of those games be 7:30 tips-off?
I think tip-off is just fine.
Each one is a 7:30 tip-off. We'll do it that way. It sounds like, does my voice sound like it's cracking? Is anyone paying that close attention? In my headphones, it feels like my voice sounds like it's cracking, like I'm going through puberty. Finally, I'm going through puberty.
Congratulations.
Oh, finally. I can grow a little dirt stash under my nose. It's going to be great. So, yeah, that money for you in a few minutes. I mentioned yesterday that the AMC out in Solon was closing permanently, and I had completely missed, somebody sent me the article, I had completely missed that the Chagrin Cinemas is closing this weekend. I guess they put this in motion in December. Chagrin Cinemas is part of the Cleveland Cinema, so they're more like outhouse. Art house cinemas. So, because I was like, oh, now you got to go to Chagrin or you got to go to Pinecrest or whatever if you're over there on the east side. You really got to get in the car and travel to go see a movie. AMC Solon just couldn't keep the lights on anymore. And so a smaller chain like Cleveland Cinemas is going to have an even harder time. So if you're a regular patron of Chagrin Cinemas, it's closing this weekend. But they're showing Jurassic Park, Grease, and Back to the Future.
Oh.
And you can see them for $5.
That's cool.
This is not an ad, by the way. Somebody sent me the article, and I completely missed it. I guess they announced this a while ago in December. It's been there for 33 years. And whoever bought the building that they're in is going to develop it into something that is not a movie theater. So between Chagrin Cinemas and the AMC Solon 16 closing, the big old megaplex out there, and again, I'm a West Sider, but I like going to movies. And so that sucks. But you kind of got the best of both worlds between like a big chain multiplex and Cleveland Cinemas. You know, when we lived in Ohio City, we would go over to the whatchamacallit all the time, the one in Gordon Square there. And
Capitol Theater.
Capitol Theater, thank you. It was on the tip of my tongue. I could not come up with it. Yes.
Does anyone ever go to that movie theater that's on Lorraine Avenue? I think it's called like the Variety. Is that a movie theater or is that like a stage? Do you know what I'm talking about?
That's a children's theater, isn't it?
Is that what it is?
I thought it was.
It was closed for a while, and they just, I think, reopened it recently.
I was like, because I drive past there and I see it all like lit up.
It looks great all lit up.
Yeah, I was like, I guess I never really noticed we had a theater there because it is always like turned off. And when it was lit up, I'm like, is there a show going on there? Is there like a cheap movie? Because if they were playing Whitney Houston, still never seen it. Like if they were playing like a Whitney Houston movie, I would go see it for like $3.
Yeah,
Those were the best.
The girl who used to own Mayhall's bought the Variety Theater. It was a movie theater, yes, but it's getting turned into something.
Yeah. But they buy it for $50,000?
$450,000. Bought the building.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm excited for that to be renovated and used again.
There you go.
It looks big.
Cool place.
And old.
Mm-hmm. It's wild when you see an older movie theater, you know, just a twin screen. You know, we used to go to the, way back in the day, there was a north side twin screen. It was called the 400 twin on the far north side of Chicago. And so we would go to that. And a lot of those, before your big multiplexes, you just have double screen theaters. And it's weird when one of those gets turned into a business that's not that, but they keep the marquee up.
Love it.
Like you'll drive up and it's a hardware store and they have the deals, you know, hammers half off like it's a movie that's coming because they've kept the marquee and the lights and the whole thing.
In Oberlin, for the longest time, it's still called the Apollo Theater, but when I was growing up, it was the original, like one big huge screen, maybe like 100 or so seats, and we would see movies there for like $2 or $3. And then I think the college bought it, and Danny DeVito is also a part owner of that movie theater, and now it's like updated and nice, and I think they have like 2 theaters in there. But I'm like, it's Oberlin. They don't need two theaters there. One big one was fine, but everything has to get updated now.
Well, but that's like a big artistic community, though.
Yeah, I think they actually have one theater that's dedicated to like movies that are coming out, and then one is like for art films. Like they have their own little Oberlin Sundance.
Sure.
Brentwood Tavern is like that. They got the marquee.
Yes,
in
that's
Rocky
a great
River,
example. Yes,
and it's just a fun look. It does get your attention. The first place I ever performed stand up was a place that it was the Medina movie theater that I would go and see movies at when I was a kid, and then it got renovated and turned into a performance theater, and they called it the Rose, and I did stand up there for the very first time, and then they tore it down a few years ago, which is a real bummer, but it was a cool old theater.
Doing stand-up on a huge theater stage in an old theater it's not ideal. Because
especially when there was only like 17 people in this 200-seat room.
Those old and the old sloping theater floor that would go, and just people sitting all over. When I was in Pittsburgh, I used to do a lot of stand-up at the Rex Theater. They would do these long showcases and things, and it was a great, huge stage, but it was the old hundreds of seats old movie theater that they just converted to a playhouse or whatever, and it's not ideal for something that's supposed to be a little bit more intimate, like stand-up comedy. You guys see Piers Morgan and Alex Jones go at it, arguing? At this point, I don't know why anybody of Piers Morgan's stature would have, whatever you think of him, he's a big deal. I think he's over on the BBC now. He went back home, but I don't know what the point of having Alex Jones on is. Because you're not going to have a conversation with him. It's like, I don't know. It seems like you're just having him on to pretend like you owned him or something. I don't get it. But it was fun to watch them go back and forth. Because I guess Alex Jones is going to be at an 11. So the less, the further down, if you're around a 2, it just makes him look crazier. And so Piers Morgan's like, all right. And Alex Jones just screaming. Nobody saw this?
I didn't see this, no.
Hear what I'm actually saying, Piers, versus what you're trying to put in my mouth.
Actually, all I'm putting
obviously, Alex, the advantage for Alex Jones is he wants to be seen anywhere. He's still trying to plead whatever case he's trying to plead. He wants to be in front of people so they know he's still around and whatever. But I don't get the point of Piers Morgan having him on.
Hear what I'm actually saying, Piers, versus what you're trying to put in my mouth.
Actually, all I'm putting into your mouth are things that have come out of your mouth.
No, you don't have footage of me saying go harass them at their houses.
No,
I do,
and I covered the Sandy Hook. I covered the Sandy Hook.
You don't have any of that. You
and
have
all I
what
know
lawyers
is, Alex,
gave you.
all I know is for all your posturing,
FindTheTruthInfowars.com.
when those poor families
don't let Piers
were going
mind
through
control
the
you,
most excruciating pain of
Infowars.com.
their lives, you took a massive amount of fuel and you
we were
poured it on
coming
the
on
bonfire
about other
of their
events.
pain.
What about the Davos
And that is the
group?
bottom line
what about
with you,
the New
Alex.
World Order?
You deliberately
What about
spun a pack of
what about the
lies
global government?
designed to make the
What
families
about
of Sandy
the
Hook
human
suffer
trafficking?
worse pain.
What about the fentanyl?
And that, I'm
No,
afraid,
it's
for all
only
your
Alex
shouting
Jones, only the
and all
epitome.
your
I'm the bad
blather
guy.
is utterly contemptible. And we both,
Hey, you're
I
never
think,
going
know
to get
that.
our First Amendment, and I'm glad you had to move back to England to live under your Islamic takeover and when they're arresting
Okay.
people for being
Alex,
against transgenderism.
You're
You
once
don't
again
want freedom, Piers.
losing the plot, so now I have to say goodbye. But it's
You
been
lied.
good to catch up.
You said
Thanks,
we come
Alex
on.
Jones. Appreciate it.
Then don't be a liar.
I don't get it. But I do love how he, I'll tell you what, Infowars.com. I'll tell you what, Piers, you are a liar, Infowars.com. And he's like
Mr. Subliminal.
Yes, he's Kevin Nealon doing that old SNL bit. So anyway, I'd like to take you out to dinner, take our clothes off. And, that's great. Again, I don't know what the point is. no one needs to be convinced that Alex Jones is unhinged. There was a piece of video somebody sent me that maybe, I don't know if it's making the rounds or if this person just found it, but it's Alex Jones from 1995.
He's the same.
He's svelte and good looking, and Alex Jones is not a bad looking guy back in the day. Again, this was almost 30 years ago, 1995, but I wasn't quite sure what the context of the video was. He was on a street standing in front of what I assume was like an Austin City Council person's house, and he was trying to make the case, look at this great house. And then they pan to the house. It's like a tiny little ranch house in Austin, but he's trying to make it sound like this person's living, in Poundcake's parlance, high off the hog. But yeah, Alex Jones back in the day was a good-looking dude.
Oh, yeah.
He is a guy.
I'm disgusted because I would smash.
But he is a guy who, if he had gone a different way, could have been, I mean, obviously he's a big deal, but in a completely, to a completely different audience. He could have been like a really, really, I don't know.
He could be how he is, but he's just angry all the time. He's always yelling. That can't be healthy where he's just constantly he's just constantly screaming all the time. There's plenty of conservatives that think just like Alex Jones, literally just like him. But at least they compose themselves a different way, or they stick to their friend group. Like, if you don't believe anything that Piers Morgan has to say, why do you go on his show? Why you don't have to be silenced. You can do your own thing. No, Piers Morgan is allowing you on his show, and yet you talk over him, and you don't care about his audience or his fan base anyways because they're all a bunch of libs. So what is the point? Why is he going on his show?
What? Well, yeah, I don't know.
He doesn't care about Piers Morgan. Why is he going on his show?
Well, that's just what I said, because Alex Jones needs to be in front of people to try to get them back to InfoWars, because he was deplatformed on so many things. This guy is, I played the clip a couple of weeks ago. He's like, I like that I'm not going to be able to buy groceries. I really like that I'm not going to have any money, because he's yelling at the audience. You know, the people who are constantly yelling, they have contempt for their audience. They don't take the audience seriously because it's all a grift. But once you get into, you see a lot of these people who refer to themselves as like former liberals, and then I got wise, and now I'm whatever. It's just audience capture.
Yeah.
Those people have just pivoted to where all of the griftees are.
Okay.
So they go, well, that's where I can make the money.
I was going to say, there must be like a small percentage, because I feel like the people that seek out Alex Jones, they already think
Alec Jones.
Alex Baldwin and Alex Jones.
I feel like the people who seek him out already think like him, so they're not going to be swayed anyway.
But the trouble with that is, I think you're right, but the trouble is over time, you need to out-crazy those people.
And that's why he's always angry. That's why he's always yelling.
Right. That's why you blame the audience eventually. Which is what he's doing now. You guys bought the propaganda, so you're not contributing to my empire anymore. This is on you, and blah, blah, blah.
So, like, when people like Piers Morgan reach out and say, hey, you want to come on my show, does he think he's going to get, like, a following from Piers Morgan? There's, like, a small percentage of the grifters that are like, you know what, this guy's making some sense. I'm going to go follow him, or I'm going to buy one of his supplements.
But it would also be so easy to just have a conversation. You could still be kooky, just be calmer about it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He would make. There's plenty of people who believe or think like Alex Jones, but he doesn't conduct himself the right way. And I don't know. He just goes on these shows, and I feel like he has to out-talk everyone to get his point across, and then everyone just thinks he's crazy.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay. Frogs.
Let me give you some money here. It's $1,000 for you to go fund yourself. Good luck. You get one of these every hour, so don't waste it. I hope you win.
The Buzzard wants you to go fund yourself and score $1,000. Enter the nationwide keyword GRAND at WMMS.com. That's GRAND. Enter it now at WMMS.com. And good luck from Buzzard Radio.
Oh, baby, baby, oops, I did it again. I play with your heart. Got lost in the game. Oh, baby, baby, oops, you think I'm in love? That I'm sent from above.
See, this is the answer to your question, Poundcake, because this Alex Jones Sings the Hits compilation that came out last year flopped so hard, he has been forced to find new revenue streams.
I wonder, has he been deplatformed on OnlyFans? Has he tried?
I don't know.
They don't necessarily, you don't have to do porn on OnlyFans.
No, there's cooking channels.
I was thinking you can sell
yeah.
supplements. I think ever since he said the whole Sandy Hook thing, no matter where he goes and what he does, he's alienated, and rightfully so. But yeah, I don't know what going on Piers Morgan or any other like show is going to do, because they all think the same way. They're not going to allow Alex Jones to just spout off like a Kanye West.
Alan, you're talking about the Variety Theater. It was the last time it was used as a venue. The very last show was Motorhead, and they played so hard it destroyed the ceiling. The last show before it was sold and remodeled. That sounds
badass.
vaguely familiar. Motorhead playing out there.
What year was that?
I don't know. Rick in Chillicothe said he went to go see Last Tango in Paris in the early 70s. That was the only place that would show it. I was just reading about that today. You ever seen Last Tango in Paris?
I have not.
Very, very controversial film at the time because the girl who was in it was 19 and Marlon Brando was 48.
Oh, sheesh.
And
Seems like that was her first tango.
Well,
in
there's
Paris.
there's a rape scene in it.
Ugh.
And it was, years later, this girl would be like, this French actress was like, it ruined my life, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't in the script. They told me, if I had the moxie, she goes, I didn't know anything about anything. She's like, I would have told them there's no way in hell I'm doing this, but I was 19. I wanted to be in a film and blah, blah, blah. It's like a classic film, but it's also very controversial for what's in it, what was in it at the time. Alex Jones can always go back to his old job as the Mucinex mascot.
Aw.
I thought that was Antonio Banderas or one of those guys.
I think he just looks.
Oh,
like
I'm thinking
him.
of Nasonex.
Yeah.
Nasonex.
I know if
The Puss in Boots guy is the Nasonex B.
I know it seems weird, and he did it to himself. But what do you think his quality of life is? Like, what do you think he just does all day when he's not working? Is he watching TV? Does he have peace? Are people outside his house protesting all the damn time?
I don't know.
Like, because that just can't be healthy. I feel like if you're on a level that he's on, you don't trust anybody. You don't trust the doctors because they're putting chemicals in the water to make the freaking frogs gay. You don't trust the news. You don't trust police officers. You don't trust anybody. So what do you do at that
Well,
point?
you do. You very conveniently mistrust sources, right? You've come to some kind of mental agreement with yourself where there's money to be had in publicly mistrusting experts, people who do know what they're talking about, because it makes dummies feel smart to think that they've found something that nobody else found. The experts won't tell you this. Yeah, they will. Yeah. Not to say that there aren't, curtains being pulled over people's eyes and things like that, but, the money is in finding people who will believe what you tell them because you've made them think that they're smarter than everybody else.
No, but it's not worth it. He lost his wife. He lost his kids.
But
It was worth it for a very long time, though.
He made enough money where he set up shell corporations in advance of this verdict coming down, and
Just saying, like he's not that old. How old is he? In his 50s or 60s?
No. He's about my age, probably.
He's got some life left. It's just gonna be.
He's 48.
awful.
He's younger than me. He will be 49 in a couple of weeks.
I don't know.
Well, whatever. Nobody's going to cry over whatever happens to Alex Jones. I got a break here. If you want to send a text for anything, 35192. If you want to join us on the phone, 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007. And you can listen wherever you are on the iHeartRadio app.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7
WMMS.